So William, let's start with yesterday in the States. You made what some people are considering an outrageous statement about the care inquiry. Why did you say what you said?
I said what I said because I think it needed to be said, and it's all I want to say about it. I'm not going to add to what I have said then.
If you don't want to add to what you said, you could add some context. Why did it need saying in your mind?
Well, I said in the States that the report of the independent care inquiry was published 2 weeks ago. This was the first occasion I had the opportunity of saying anything, and also the last, because it was my last sitting.
Do you understand the disquiet it's caused, calling the process flawed, undermining perhaps the conclusions of Francis Oldham QC and the panel? There are some desperately upset people about this today.
I think that if you look at the speech in its entirety, there is no basis for people to be upset. As I say, I have really nothing to add to it, but you can look at the speech on the webcam from the States Assembly, and you'll be able to read it in Hansard. And when you look at it in the round, it is clear that it is limited to a very narrow section of the report, where I think that the inquiry simply were illogical and were flawed. And if I can't defend my office, I don't know who can.
I was struck by one paragraph of the words you used because it's almost verbatim taken from the 2017 care inquiry. Francis Oldham QC was talking about the then bailiff, your brother Sir Philip, and words he'd used about Jersey's reputation versus the child abuse investigation. The words that she used: "We cannot accept that a politician and lawyer of his experience would inadvertently have made what he told the inquiry was an unfortunate juxtaposition of words. We are sure that the way in which Jersey is perceived internationally matters greatly to him. His linking of Jersey's reputation to the child abuse investigation was, we are satisfied, a grave political error." You yesterday used those words and tweaked them to say, "I cannot accept a lawyer of the chairman's experience would inadvertently have drafted such an unfortunate juxtaposition of words. I am sure that the way in which Jersey receives her panel's report matters greatly to her. Her linkage of the allegations of lack of fairness in transparency and decision taking by the bailiff to historic child abuse was a grave error." It feels like you're trolling her.
It does, as you say, it sounds very similar.
And why did you choose to do that?
As I say, I'm not commenting any further, but it does sound similar.
But there's got to be a motive for that. That doesn't happen by accident, and it's certainly not a coincidence. So you're a measured, intelligent man who chose to do that. Clearly, lobbing a grenade on your last day was intentional.
I wouldn't describe it as lobbing a grenade. I would describe it as defending the office of bailiff, which I think was very unfairly denigrated by implication in the last report which was lodged. And I agree, I did not pull punches in saying that. Now, that's all I'm going to say about it.
There are people saying if you hadn't said it yesterday when it's game over for you in your office, they'd have called for a motion of no confidence. That highlights that concern. You realise that?
As I said, I don't know how many times I need to say it. I'm not going to talk about it. And frankly, if you carry on asking me questions about this interview closes.
And to those who have said that what you said yesterday was an abuse of your power by making your intervention, you say to them?
Well, I said I wasn't going to talk about that.
But do. Humour me.
I don't think it was an abuse of my position at all. I think the bailiff is entitled to defend his job and his position. And when it is unfairly criticised, I think the bailiff's entitled to say so.
As you look back on your term, I mean, Deputy Bailiff, Attorney General, decades of public service, but finally reaching that public service pinnacle in Jersey, how do you characterise your time at the top?
I have tried to do my best, and people will form their own judgments about that. I've found each of the three jobs to be very interesting, very challenging, and I hope I haven't let people down.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yes.
What are the aspects of the job? Because it's so wide-ranging, including those civic duties outside these four walls. What do you enjoy most about it?
Each part of the job has its own intellectual challenge, and each part of the job has its own direct interests. But just taking the civic role for a minute, this island is an absolutely brilliant island. It has got so much going on. There are so many talented people with such diversity of skills that you could not but enjoy as civic head, being part of those skills, being able to watch them and see, frankly, parts of the island which before I had the job I didn't know existed. It has been an absolute privilege.
One that always sticks out for me, I think because of the scale and the pageantry and the way it mixes formal and informal, is Liberation Day.
Yes. Liberation Day is the island's national day. It is very important to a large number of people in Jersey. Obviously to those who were here during the war and who suffered the occupation, and there are naturally, as time goes by, fewer and fewer of those. But it's wider than that. They will all have talked to their families, and Liberation Day is a very important part of Jersey and the way we do things.
And I guess for some people, hearing you say that will matter a lot, because we are now in that year building up to the 75th anniversary as well. An important time to keep those stories and memories alive.
Absolutely, and in the 75th year celebration, we've got Jersey Week coming up, which you've probably heard about, and which I hope will be a cracker of a week and be an opportunity for businesses to demonstrate, businesses and organisations, to demonstrate what they are all about, to be a great experience for islanders and for visitors. And who knows, it might then be repeated every other year or something in the future. It is a really good opportunity to showcase the island at its best. We
know Boris Johnson spoke at an early age of knowing he was going to be king of the world. When did you know in your mind, not about paperwork and succession and formalities, when did you know, I've got a shot of being bailiff here?
To be honest, I never thought about being bailiff for until quite late on in my career. I assumed that because my brother was bailiff, it was not a course for me.
Was there any pressure in following in your brother's footsteps?
Pressure from whom? No.
I just wonder, self-pressure, family pressure, like, okay, I think he's done an okay job, I need to do a really okay job.
I'm a younger brother, of course I thought I could do better than my older brother. That's the way brothers think.
Excellent work, I believe that. And do you think you did succeed?
That's brothers.
What's your plan of action now? Here you are free from the shackles, the chains of office. You may have spoken more freely yesterday. You can say what you like come tomorrow, more or less. What does the former bailiff, Sir William Bailhache, intend to do that we will see publicly?
Not a lot. You will be able to read my judgments in the Royal Court or in the Court of Appeal, and you will not find that I speak outside those, because judges don't.
Would I find you hanging up that gown one day and I see a vote for Senator Bailhache poster come a future general election, for example?
The correct answer ought to be that never say never, but actually never.
Not your cup of tea?
It's not what I will be doing.
Just finally, will you miss this?
Will I miss being interviewed?
Perhaps. I'm sure you'll miss these moments greatly. Will you miss being the bailiff?
Yes, of course I will. I will, but it's time to go. I have done it for long enough. My successor needs to have a fair crack at the whip, and it's time to go.
Sir William, thank you very much.
You're welcome.